After getting off to a pretty slow start this year, the Los Angeles Clippers are currently rolling on a 7-game winning streak, and throughout this stretch, Kawhi Leonard has been on an absolute tear, averaging 31 points, shooting 63% from the field, while having a net rating of plus 97 over the 7-game stretch. So in this video, we're going to do a deep dive on the film to see exactly what Kawhi is doing on the court to find success. Now so far this year, Kawhi has been doing a majority of his damage with these mid-post isolations, where the Clippers simply clear out the ball side corner and let Kawhi work one-on-one. Now with the long list of injuries that Kawhi has dealt with, I do think he's slightly lost his burst and punch off the dribble, but Leonard is able to make up for that with his strength and patience with the ball. Kawhi physically is an absolute bull, being able to both initiate and absorb contact, to then keep himself on balance into shots. Right here, notice how the Clippers give Kawhi this entire side of the floor to work with. And when Leonard catches, instead of ripping towards the baseline, he's going to pivot over towards the middle. Then watch where he throws his shoulder into the defense's chest, which bounces them back and gives Kawhi a window to get this jump hook off. Now it's just him and Julius Randle playing one-on-one, and Kawhi is going to again catch and attack towards the paint. And while Leonard is initiating heavy contact, he still has the balance to shift his shoulders to his right and create an angle to rise up over his left shoulder. So overall, Kawhi's bag is pretty simple and straightforward, getting to a lot of these methodical back down and turnaround jumpers. But I think everything comes back to Kawhi's strength, not only because it allows him to work to spots, but it also allows him to constantly be stable with the ball, which gives him time to both read the floor and find open spots to attack. Now I think as an isolation scorer, Kawhi might have the best feel of space of any player across the league, being able to feel where the help is, to then attack into open space for his patent mid-range pull-up. You'll see him on this play catch in the mid-post, and as soon as he gets his feet planted, he already knows where the open space is, and he turns into a clinical one-dribble pull-up going towards the baseline. You'll see Kawhi here start his attack from the perimeter, then transition into a post-up. But now he has this help defender sitting a gap on his right side, so Kawhi is just going to turn over his right shoulder towards the middle. And again, notice how Leonard gives his man a slight bump before he turns, which gives him a little more space into this jumper. Watch the Knicks here throw 2 extra defenders at the ball, and Kawhi from here instinctually turns away from the traffic and sets up a fadeaway over his left shoulder. And Kawhi's feel of space also helps him create shots when he's working off these off-ball screens. Right here, you'll see him come off this pin down screen, and as soon as he catches, notice how he gets swarmed by these 3 defenders. But again, Kawhi is able to feel where the open space is, and he takes one dribble and hops into it, to then flow into this jumper. Now on top of Kawhi's ability to use his strength and reach to create these mid-range jumpers, he also has some sneaky separation moves in his bag. You'll see him here get Julius Randle up with a shot fake. Then watch how Leonard initially attacks out wide, then veers back into Randle's body. But from here, notice how Kawhi is going to both nudge Julius with his forearm and plant off his right foot, to then skip out into this fadeaway. This is a similar move here, where Kawhi is going to use his strength to move this defender across the nail. Then he's going to again plant off his inside foot and skip out to his left for the jumper. Look at this play. You'll see Kawhi here get to that same move by initiating contact and planting off his inside foot. But now he feels this defender overplaying the jumper, so Kawhi is going to simply keep his feet planted and get to the shot fake and step through. Now Leonard's isolation scoring also extends out beyond the perimeter, and this is where we begin to see his 3-point shooting come into play. If Kawhi is given any space off the catch or bounce, it's going to be a pull-up 3 right in your eye, and Leonard loves to use the outside shooting threat to pull the defense out beyond the 3, which then opens up avenues for his downhill scoring. And while Kawhi may not have the shiftiest handle, he's still good enough with the ball to create scoring angles, where he can then lean back on his strength to generate points. Leonard into the paint, flips it in, plus the foul. This is a nice move here, where Leonard quickly drops down to a right to left between, and he gets Randle to lean towards his left, which now allows Kawhi to bring the ball back through and attack into this open space. Now Kawhi's ability to feel and read the court also makes him a really effective playmaker in isolation, If teams try to throw 1 or 2 defenders at him, he's got the ability to slice up teams with his passing. And because Kawhi is always on balance and stable with the ball, he can simultaneously be both a scoring and a passing threat. You'll see him on this play attack towards his right and get to his favorite bump and step back. But from here, notice how he pulls the entire weak side defense into the paint, which leaves Paul George wide open in the opposite corner for a practice shot.
Off to George in the corner, he got it.
Now all these skills that we've gone over so far in Kawhi's scoring carries right over to his pick and roll game, where again Kawhi's patience and feel of the court allows him to easily carve up defenses and set up these easy in-rhythm pull-ups. When playing off these ball screens, Kawhi's first option is always to look to shoot if he has space, which make or miss puts a ton of pressure on the defense, and that generally forces the man guarding the ball to fight over the screen, which then gives Kawhi all this in-between space to work with. Right here, notice how Kawhi's shooting threat forces this defender to fight over the pick, which now allows Leonard to play against this big one-on-one. And from here, Kawhi is going to get to an aggressive right-hand dribble to then rise up for a left-right jumper. Now in pick and roll, I also think Kawhi is a pretty underrated passer. I wouldn't necessarily put him as one of the top tier passers across the league, but he's certainly capable of making the right read if need be, and he's able to leverage that passing threat to manipulate the defense to create easy buckets. Watch him here use his eyes to briefly freeze these 2 defenders, which then gives him enough airspace to comfortably gather into a shot. This play here is pretty tough, where Kawhi is going to use a Chris Paul style pass fake by snapping the ball down with his wrist, which completely moves this big off his spot and gives Kawhi a red carpet to the rim. This is also an interesting move here, where Kawhi is going to skip off his left foot and lift his eyes up, selling as if he's about to make some type of cross-court skip pass. And notice how this completely lifts this defender out of his stance, which gives Leonard another clear driving path. You'll see Kawhi here use that same skip step, and when he attacks downhill, he now reads Chris Paul sliding over to tag the roller, which opens up this kick-out pass to the opposite corner.
Coffee in the corner for 3. Oh, the Folger Soldier.
Now throughout the Clippers' recent run, Leonard has also been getting a good amount of open catch and shoot threes, which are shots that constantly find him in the flow of the game. And I think Kawhi's ability to simply space the floor and knock down these spot-up threes is huge for the Clippers' offense. Not only because it puts points on the board, but it also provides some much-needed space for the Clippers' other playmakers. Right here, you'll see James Harden working off the screen in the middle of the floor, with Kawhi spacing out in the corner. And notice how Kawhi's presence keeps this off-ball defender jammed up, which allows the Clippers to play 2-on-1 against this drop big. On this play, we again have Harden playing in pick and roll, with Leonard now spotting up in the ball side corner. And as Harden starts coming downhill, you'll notice how this defender stays glued to Kawhi, which gives Harden all this open space to attack into. Now Kawhi's defense has also been a huge factor to the Clippers' success, but if you want to see my breakdown of Leonard's play on the defensive end, that video is going to be exclusively on my Patreon. The kid's here.